All right. Welcome to, I think this is my third live stream. Tonight we're going to be playing some real fishing for the PS1. I am very excited because this is a game that I hold near and dear to me. So let's see here. Okay. So I just need to move the chat over here. Great. Oh yeah, and I should have OBS right here, maybe? Okay. Yeah, that'll work. All right. What's going on, guys? I know some of you I just saw in the premiere for my last video. I really I put a lot of work into that, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. And now we are going to play some real fishing. So this is a game that I grew up playing. It's for the PlayStation 1, which some of you probably don't know about, but it was a, before the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, 4, or 5. That was I think Sony's first like big console. And this was a fishing game for it that at the time I actually had a PS2, and this was the first game I bought with my own money. I got it for $3 at a GameStop bargain bin, and I totally played the heck out of it. I played it nonstop. So we're gonna play some tonight, and yeah, it's hyper realistic graphics. I can't believe you spent 40 plus hours watching an AI fishing for a video. That's insane, but I enjoyed the video. Well, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed the video, Nate. What motivates me to do those is I know, like, they resonate with my audience very well. But also on top of that, it's like, there were so many people, like, that most popular video, it was the copper wire attracting fish, that got like 70,000 views, and there are a lot of people in the comments that like genuinely believed it. So I was like, I gotta do something about this, because this is complete nonsense. Copper wire does not attract fish. I remember there's one comment in particular is like, it said like, oh, my grandfather had copper wire around his hooks in his tackle box, now I know what it was used for. And it's like, no, you don't. If anything, if there was a good practical use, I didn't say this in the video, you could put copper wire around a hook if you wanted it to weigh more. So if you wanted like a weighted hook and you didn't want to put on a separate sinker, that's a good use case. Oop, I just lost a trout. Bryce, you should try the Rapala Ultralight. It's quite expensive, but I think the spots you're fishing, it would work. I've tried floating minnows and they work good, but the ultralight is much better. That is a great idea, Flying Mercedes CLR. Thank you for becoming a member, by the way. I didn't get a chance to thank you. I really, really appreciate the support. I totally want to try out that lure. You know I'm a Rapala fanboy, so yeah, I gotta give the ultralight Rapala lures a shot. Definitely. I know Just One More Cast, he might hop on at some point. He's used them before. So, yeah, I know I've seen him do it at least in one video. I think that's when I first actually saw the lure. I was like, oh wow, this is a Rapala lure I've never heard of, and it looks right up my alley. Alright. So, if this game seems antiquated and old, it's because, it's from, I think, 1999. It's an old game, but I like the way that they took, like, footage of a real stream, and they put it on loop to kind of simulate like you're actually there. which I would imagine was pretty groundbreaking for the 90s. Oh, I lost another one. I like watching your vids before heading off to school. Oh, well, that's great. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in school anymore. But I was in a similar situation. I watched YouTube videos before going to school. Um, you know, everyone's school experience is a little different, but I just, I'm glad that I'm out of it, and I'm just like, no longer in school. I'm just able to live my own life. Um, I feel like school is aimed towards the people who like to study, and I feel like for people who are more hands-on like myself, even if I don't do I do a manual labor job, um, you know, I feel like I don't know where I was going with this, but anyways, I'm glad you enjoy watching my videos, and hopefully I can keep making more of them. You should be sponsored by Rapala. You wouldn't need to work ever again. Oh, I don't know about that. Um, I would probably still need to work, but it would certainly make YouTube easier. Although I'm pretty sure Rapala only sponsors like big bass fishermen, like the competitive ones that do tournaments and stuff. They don't usually target small YouTube channels because they also it's kind of honestly it's kind of like a Bentley, right? You don't see any advertisements for Bentley because they have such a strong brand. Um, you know, it's kind of like that. Like Rapala doesn't need a YouTuber to sponsor them or to speak highly of them. There are enough people who use Rapala lures that they're established. I would totally be open to taking a sponsorship for a lure brand, though. If there is a brand out there that wanted to support my channel, I've thought about Fishbrain too. I've thought about maybe reaching out to them because I actually use Fishbrain a lot, and I actually think it's a good app. Um, but and I know I like when I released one of my last videos, I had a lot of people asking where I log my catches. But yeah, let's see here. Interested in fishing games? Where did you find Fishing GeoGuessr? Because it looks fun. Um, you might not believe this, but I actually made Fishing GeoGuessr. It was AI assisted. So I had AI write code for me, and yeah, I was able to put it together. I downloaded the catch photos and the catch data, and kind of just put it together. Um, I but for other fishing games, I mean, I love emulating old games from my childhood. If you want a more modern game, I really liked Cast and Chill was a good one. It's not like if you're looking for a game that's like more arcadey, then that's probably not the right game. But it's a nice game to like relax to at the end of a long day. Um, it's fun catching the different fish and walking new places. Man, these trout keep stealing your lure. Give them a size 12-aught treble hook for revenge. I know. And so these trout, believe it or not, it's called a Yamame trout. So this game was developed in Japan, and so this is a Japanese salmonid. I'm pretty sure it's kind of like it's the landlocked version of a cherry salmon, I think is what it is. But it's a beautiful, beautiful fish. This is like, if I could fish anywhere in the world and catch a fish, I would love Yamame trout in Japan. Would be amazing. I don't think I'll ever get to it in this life, but that's all right. I can catch them on real fishing. Now, I believe in order to progress to the next place, I have to catch a, is it an 11-inch? It's a pretty good-sized trout. Oh, hey, just one more cast. Wow, for 1996, the graphics of this game looks pretty good. Yeah, yeah. I was really impressed, and I think it's why the game stuck with me, is the photorealistic graphics that they chose, where they basically took like real footage of a stream, and then they like cut a loop of it. They cut the video in half and then did like a crossfade, so it kind of like fades into itself in a never-ending loop. And then you can see like there are parts around the like rocks and the vegetation that don't move, so they must have had some sort of mask on the video, so that it's only the water that's flowing. I think they did that so that it would loop more naturally, but I thought it was really cool to think they were doing this back in '96. And I mean, they were developing it even earlier, right? You don't just develop a game and release it in the same year. I say that. A lot of games get rushed nowadays, don't they? Oh, I missed him. I promise I'm a little bit better at this game, but I am trying to manage the live chat too, like go back and forth. There we go. Let's see. You might be able to see there's some shadows there that they're going. Those are the fish, and I think I'm using a caddisfly nymph right now. Oh, come on. You got me. Yep, I know. Oh, it's a rockfly nymph. My bad. I love fishing, but I only got an octopus and a fish. That's it. No more. Well, hey, catching an octopus would be pretty cool. I've never caught an octopus before. That reminds me though, I am planning on doing some saltwater fishing this year. I've had a lot of people ask me about saltwater, and yeah, it's definitely something I'm gonna do this year. I am a little bit further, from the coast than some people, but it's within driving distance. So I will definitely try to get out there and do some saltwater fishing. Let's try the larva. Play fly fishing simulator. I think I played a fly fishing simulator. I'm not sure if it's the same. It was actually a mobile game. All right, there we go. We got one. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Nice. That's a good size one. All right. All right. You got it. Hey Bryce, I think the reason you're having more luck on natural colors with fishing is because you fish clear water. I like gold blades for murky for spinners. I see. I see what you mean. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I do fish a lot of, I guess, relatively clear water. For me, it's still kind of like, it's not like I'm fishing in Florida or like Texas, like somewhere down south where it's like they're all like muddy rivers. But yeah, I guess it's relatively clean, but it's nothing like. You might have seen my the video where I fished the White Mountains in New Hampshire. It was the first brook trout on the channel, That was like crystal clear water. Absolutely beautiful. Stunning. Um, and it definitely helps. You're definitely right, though. I tend to use more natural colors, and I do tend to fish in generally cleaner water. This is a very nice stream, especially compared to the ones I usually watch. Well, hey, I'm glad you enjoy it. Yeah, I just figured it'd be a good opportunity to engage with you guys. Unwind after a long week. It's been a long week for me. I don't know about you guys, but just work and stuff has been very, very busy. I'm sure if you guys aren't busy with work, you're busy with school, or it's that time of year. Things ramp up. But at the same time, the fishing is going to be ramping up soon. Like, hey, it's probably only going to be like another week or two until I try to do some open water fishing. I could technically, if I wanted to go all the way down to Massachusetts, I could probably catch some fish open water. There are probably some people already doing it in New Hampshire. Um, but for me, I got some other things I'm working on, and I just know the fishing will be better if I wait a week or two. I'm realizing that you're talking, um, what's, oh, sorry, hold on. I live in the UK, and I went fishing yesterday. I caught a new PB 5-pound chub, and my friend caught a 10-pound pike. Wow. That's insane. A 5-pound chub? Okay, this is gonna sound silly. I actually am more impressed with the 5-pound chub over the 10-pound pike. Um, Chubs don't usually get that big, or at least not around here. I think the world record fall fish is around 5 pounds. Um, but yeah, the chubs we have do not get that big usually. That's. I also lost my $20 micro glide bait because I was running 4-pound mono. I, I knew exactly what happened as soon as you said you were running 4-pound mono. I was like, oh. Oh, that's a shame. Well, that's one of the reasons why I stopped using 4-pound mono. I used it at the beginning of last year, and I was losing too many lures. And of course, if a carp bites you, it's really challenging. But also, if you get snagged, like, it's much harder uh, to recover your lure with 4-pound mono. Now, the line I use nowadays for ultralight, I use a 6-pound test copolymer line. It's like, think of it like a hybrid between monofilament and fluorocarbon. So you have a little bit more elasticity than like fluoro, but not super stretchy. And then at the same time, it's also much more abrasion resistant than monofilament is. It feels like a much more durable line. And it casts well. It doesn't have really bad memory or anything, so I like it. I would definitely recommend it. They even sell, like, I think the one I have is like a P-line trout line. Like, it's branded for trout fishing. So it works really well in the streams that I fish. The UK national record for a chub is 9 pounds. Wow. That is crazy. Man, I gotta go to the UK and catch myself a chub. I've never seen a chub that big. Wow. Alright, let's see if I can land this guy. Yamame trout. Yamame so trout, he's on a live stream of Bryce Goes Fishing. I'm an Arizona fisherman and it's pretty much already spring. Wow. Well, I guess that makes sense. I remember I mentioned Arizona in my Is Fishing Really Gambling video, and I had a lot of comments saying, like, um, you know, it's all right. Or actually, it wasn't even that one. It was one of my ice fishing videos. Someone had commented saying, like, it was like 90 here in Arizona. And I was like, oh my goodness. I don't know if I want it to be that warm, but um, yeah, I'm so looking forward to open water. I really enjoyed ice fishing this past winter, but yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same as open water fishing, and obviously it's not as engaging. Like, people don't watch those videos as much because there isn't as much going on. You know, you can do fancy editing and commentary and all this, but it's really diminishing returns because at the end of the day, it's not as engaging. Like, there's so much more to look at. Half of the enjoyment I feel like from my videos isn't even the fish. It's the environment I'm in, where I'm catching the fish. Um, you know, at least that's where I get the enjoyment out of watching my own stuff. Um, but it's also fun to relive those memories of catching certain fish. Wait, isn't this the game you get all your sounds from in your videos? LOL. So I don't get the sound effects, but I do use this music. I use this music a lot actually. Um, so yeah, you probably, if you've watched my videos, you probably have heard this one before. The other game that I get a lot of my stuff from is Sega Bass Fishing Duel. That's a game for the PS2. It was also released as Sega Bass Fishing 2 for the Dreamcast. Um, yeah, that's a really fun. That's like a more arcadey style game. This is more of like a simulation game because, in my opinion, this is a more realistic fishing experience where, you know, they throw the hook, take the bait, and you're stuck just waiting. The lake I fished for like 2 times was murky and cloudy. So I should use a spinner bait. I want to catch a bass really bad. If you want to catch a bass, I mean, obviously, you know, bass will go for anything that moves. One of my like go-to lures when I'm specifically targeting bass is a Senko. Just use a stick bait. I know that's like a super generic answer, but that's like my go-to when I want to only catch bass or monster bass. I'm gonna use like a really big soft plastic. Because at least here in New Hampshire, there aren't too many things that will go for that. It's really just bass. Some places have northern pike. Northern pike will go for it, and then pickerel. Pickerel will also go for it. Oh yeah, I guess walleye can, but at least here in New Hampshire, we don't have too many northern pike, and we also don't have too many walleye. They're pretty much isolated to the Connecticut River, which is on the New Hampshire-Vermont border. Let's see if I can get this one. Oh, come on! Of course, once I get on stream, it's like I don't know how to catch fish anymore. Let's see if I can get this one. Let's see. Go for the larva. Oh my goodness. Alright. Bryce, you should try catching northern pike. Yeah, that's another one I have on my list. I don't know if I'll get to it this year. I definitely want to catch one though. I'd like, if I can get it this year, that's great, but there is a fish I'd like to target before that, and that is the white sucker. That's a fish that's been on my list for a while. It's a native species to New Hampshire. Somehow, despite all of the targeting of carp I did last year, which they go for like basically the same baits, I didn't catch one. So I think that's going to be like an early season target for me because, unlike carp, suckers are actually more active while they're spawning. Like, they will feed more while they're spawning, and they spawn basically as early in the spring as possible. Like they're very, very early spring spawning fish. So that's one I want to catch. I know it's actually they're. Oh, hey! I'm not sure if you heard that sound effect. There's like a little harp or something. That tells me I just unlocked the next place. So it must have been to catch a certain number of trout over like a size. But that means we can go to the next location. So, this is it's called the Aqua Room, and this is kind of like the hub, if you will, for the game. You use the book to get to different locations. There's this old man here.
Always be ready for a bite when you use a dry fly.
He just like says different like fishing tips. I always wondered who this guy was. Like, you know, he's not mentioned in the credits for the game. I tried looking up the photo, couldn't find any reference to it. So, yeah, I have no idea where this came from. But, kind of interesting. This is for rankings. This is what I wanted. So, this is... I don't know what it actually is, but it basically keeps track of your progress. So, every time you get a little pearl there, it means that you've unlocked a new location. So, pretty cool. We'll be able to fish another spot. And then we also have an aerated and an unaerated tank. So I believe this is the aerated tank. Nope, that's the unaerated. This is the aerated tank. And so we can actually, check this out, we can watch the fish in the tank. So I put this trout in here earlier, and we can feed it. Pretty neat. Oh, Pop Goes the Weasel is heading off. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, man. I'm glad you got to be here and join us on the live stream. That's great. Hope you have a great weekend. Are walleye and zander the same? So, they're not technically the same species. I believe they are technically different species, but they're very similar. I think they might even be in the same genus. Definitely in the same they're in the perch family. So, yeah. And I think they're, you know, when I hear zander, I think that's like the European walleye. They're very, very similar fish. And you target them the same way. They'll go for the same stuff. So this is a different stream, and this is where we can catch char. I forget the exact species of char, but it's like a Japanese species of char. Let's see. All right. I remember these ones being a little bit more finicky, but this one seems to be cooperating. Oh no. Oh no, do not. Oh. It's tricky. Sometimes landing these fish, I mean. Yo, drinking water constantly. Welcome to the stream. Reminds me I should be drinking water. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, and also, hey, thanks for becoming a member. I really appreciate the support. All right, we got an 8.1-inch char. All right, we're gonna... I guess we can put in the live well. Sure. It's happy. Hey, Bryce, what is the advantage of buying a more expensive rod? I'm considering your green one, but I want to know why people spend so much on rods. Okay, so that's a really good question. Personally, I would say no one needs to spend a ridiculous amount of money on a rod. I think, honestly, if you, like, the best rod under $100, for ultralight at least, is the Shakespeare Micro. The Shakespeare Micro series. Maybe if you can get like a Daiwa Presso rod for like $80, maybe that would be better. But I'm a really big fan of the Shakespeare Micro series rod. You can get it for like $20, $25. You find it at Walmart. Because it's so, it's very light. It's very sensitive. The only downside is that it's also very fragile. So I have snapped a few of them, which is a shame, but again, it's only like 20, 25 bucks, so you're not, losing much. Now, the benefit of having a more expensive rod or a better quality rod, because not every expensive rod is necessarily, worth the money. But definitely, I love my TFO Trout Panfish 2. That's the green one that you're talking about. That is a much more expensive rod. You can bet, basically, you can buy 5 Shakespeare micros for the price of that one. I think it's $130. Um, and do you need that to catch fish? Absolutely not. I like it because it's even more sensitive. Like and it feels so nice. I don't know if I can even explain it, but like the sensitivity of the rod really helps it stand out. And then also it just like the Shakespeare Micro, it's a very very light rod. Um, I think it might even be lighter than the Shakespeare Micro, but it is much more sensitive. I think it even bends a little bit more, but I absolutely love that thing. I would highly recommend it. And I think, you know, personally, again, you can spend all the money you want on a rod, but you're like, $50 ugly stick is going to catch fish all the same. In fact, the first year me getting back into fishing, so this was 2024, I only had one rod, and it was a 6 foot 2 piece. It's, I still use it, but it's a 6 foot 2 piece medium power ugly stick GX2. And that is a really good intro level because it's not a super sensitive rod, and it's intended for um, you know, thing usually heavier lures than what I fish. But I threw a 132nd ounce Panther Martin off of it, no problem. So definitely, Ugly Stick GX2 is a great starter rod. If you want to spend more, you can. It's really just because you want something that feels nice. That's really the only advantage. Something I don't think I've talked about. I haven't shared it on the channel yet. Okay, so this is I actually also the next rod I spent a good amount on is one that you'll see on the channel soon. I actually bought a bait caster, so I will be doing a video on that soon. Probably in the next month or two, assuming I can actually catch stuff with it. Um, so the only reason why I spent a good amount on that is because from my initial research online, people recommended like a good bait caster is going to cost, like the rod is going to be over $100. And I also don't want my opinion, since I'm going to be sharing my opinion on the bait caster. I don't want that to be swayed just because I cheaped out on a bait caster rod, because I don't want to, uh, judge it based off of a cheap combo. So some people consider $200 to be a budget combo for bait casters, which is ridiculous to me. Like, honestly, you can get a much better spinning combo for cheaper. I think that's like one of the reasons I like spinning gears. It's like, it works, it's easier, and it's cheaper in most cases. But, yeah, look forward to that. I haven't gotten to fish with it, but I've done some like practice casts, and I've had a few backlashes that I've had to deal with. But I do like the feel of it, and it's a medium heavy rod, which I really needed something for throwing heavier stuff. Try doing BFS fishing, Bryce. I will definitely be doing BFS at some point, because that was like my first reaction after like trying this. Is like, oh my goodness, I would love to try like this kind of action but ultralight. And of course, then I'm gonna spend another few hundred on a BFS setup, but maybe down the road I will. Is Daiwa big where you live? Here in Australia, the main two brands are Daiwa and Shimano. Yes, it is a pretty big brand over here. I don't actually have a Daiwa or Shimano reel, But I think it's just because in the US we have a lot more reel manufacturers. Like there's a lot more competition because I think fishing is just such a big thing, relatively speaking, in the US. So, you know, we got even like Bass Pro Shops has their own brands of reels. I have the what is it, the Micro Light Elite, I think it's called. I have their ultralight reel. I'm a big Fluger fan. Fluger's, I think, a brand that you don't really hear about outside the U.S., but could be wrong there. Then you have Okuma, which I think that's is it a Japanese brand? I like Okuma though. You know, my carp fishing reel is an Okuma Avenger series bait feeder reel. We have Penn. We have what else? You know, we have a bunch of other fishing reel brands. But yeah, Daiwa and Shimano are definitely still big brands over here. But oh yeah, I also forgot Abu Garcia reels. Those you can find in Walmart. Pretty common. But yeah, we have a bunch of reels to choose from. What spot of a lake should I try using a frog bait? You should try using a frog bait near a lot of like. Well, actually, it's a simple answer. Where do you see frogs? Right? Like you should fish a frog lure where frogs would be residing. A lot of the time, that's going to be near a lot of vegetation, close to the close to the edges of the water body. But for more shallow water, like there are some really shallow portions of ponds and lakes that just have a bunch of lily pads that you can skip them along, which I find that's where I see the most frogs. But I might also not be the best source because, with the exception of one tiny cream lure topwater frog, I have not caught anything off of like a real like pad crasher topwater frog. So I'm not the best source. I was thinking it would be a good video idea of like me just like, I'm not going to try any other lure. I'm just going to keep fishing until I catch something with a topwater frog. Because it's something that I know I gave topwater frogs a bad rap in one of my last videos. But yeah, they obviously catch fish. I just find I think they're a little overrated because they're harder. They're harder to catch fish off of compared to other lures. Nice. All right. Let's. My bait caster is an Abu Garcia Aqua Pro or something. It was like 70 at Scheels or Shields. Sorry, we don't actually have that store around, so I don't know how it's pronounced. But that's cool. Yeah, I think personally, I think $60-$70 is like a quality budget kind of range for like a reel. I think you can obviously go cheaper, but in my opinion, like if you can afford to go like $60-$70 around that range, you can usually get something that is like solid metal versus I know a lot of the cheaper reels will have like a lot of plastic parts and those can break very easily. You also usually get more bearings too, so it's going to feel a little bit smoother. Honestly, if don't fish frogs if you're newer to fishing. It's super frustrating. If you want top water, use top water frogs. Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. It is frustrating. In fact, I I would say the most help my topwater frog was for me last year was actually recovering another lure that I got like caught up and my line snapped and it fell to the surface. It was a Rapala floating minnow. He got stuck in a tree, and by casting and retrieving my topwater frog, I was able to like inch it back closer to shore and recover it. But didn't catch any fish off of it last year. Alright, Bald Rat, thanks for coming on. Hope you get lots of sleep. I think 2 a.m. is early as far as you usually on these streams, so. Thanks for coming on. Let's see if I can get this char. Oh, come on. I think with the char, you have to hold on a little bit longer. Like, you have to let them eat it away a little bit. They're a little more wary. God bless you, Bryce. Tight lines. God bless you, too. Come on, let's get this guy. Oh my, that was the end of the stream I almost got. I forgot there's like a cutoff. Hopefully I can pull this guy in. Come on. Have you heard of the Australian bass? I don't think I have. The only Australian fish I really know, like off the top of my head, is the Murray cod. And the only reason I know the Murray cod is because I played this game on the PlayStation 2 called Ty a Tasmanian Tiger. And it takes place in Australia, and there's this one level. It's like a ocean level that has Murray cod in it. Let's see if I can get this one. You should try the game Fishing Planet. It's kind of a grind, but it's free to play. Except for the fact that it shoves DLCs in your face. So I actually have played Fishing Planet before. And the reason why I, haven't played it too much is because of how grindy it is. Like, honestly, I used to play a lot more games than I do now. Like, I'm going to be 100% honest. The last time I played a game, other than this stream, was the last time I streamed. Like, I guess I technically turned this game on to test it before the stream, but, before today, the last time I was streaming was all the way last month. It's just because, like, now, like, my free time goes into making videos. If I'm not spending that time with my family, then I'm working on the channel, and honestly, I find it more fulfilling than, just playing a game, too. I know you guys get a lot more out of it than if I were just playing video games all day. Let's see if we can get him. Oh yeah, we got him. We got him. Now don't run on me now. Oh hey, just one more cast. Good to see ya. Is that a brook trout? I can't even catch one in real life. This is a char that is actually, this game was developed in Japan, so this is a Japanese char of some kind. It looks like a brook trout though, and that's because brook trout are technically char. They are a species of char, even though we call them trout. And the difference between, if you want to know the difference between a trout and a char, it's that trout have white bodies with dark coloring and or like darker colored spots, versus char have dark bodies and lighter colored spots. So another example of a char that we call a trout is the lake trout. The lake trout is technically a char as well. A popular fish here is a flathead. They are similar to flounders. Is that the same as a flathead catfish? I know that's a popular fish down south. Let's see. Can I get him? Oh. Didn't get him. Amazing you know that stuff off the top of your head. You know, that's one of those things I kind of get a little bit too engaged learning about fish sometimes. But I kind of I like knowing the differences, like, you know, what makes this fish unique. Let's see if I can land this one. I can't remember the size that I need, but I know it's like a certain size char. You got to go to the north shore of Lake Superior in Minnesota. There's so many brook trout up there if you're having trouble getting them. Really? The north shore of Lake Superior. Now, the Great Lakes in general always seem like I've never been there, but it seems like an intimidating water for me. Like, I feel like it would be harder to catch fish. But I guess I say that because it's like the same deal with the ocean. It's harder to read, um, you know, unless you're around a place that has a lot of obvious structure. Like, you know, with the ocean, it's like I don't have logs to go off of. Yeah, you can go off of maybe there are some rocks nearby, but I feel like it's just harder to read the water versus, like, you know, fishing a stream. Streams are, like, in my opinion, they're the easiest, right? Like, you know, I can point to you. It's wherever the fast water meets the slow water. If there's a rock, just go behind the rock. Like right here, if you can see where my rod's pointing, yeah, that rock, that would be a perfect spot in real life to cast and catch something. You know, in this game, obviously they're going to be spawning in more than just those perfect areas, but do you recommend any other Christian fishing YouTubers? Yes, absolutely. You probably already watch him. I love watching Toxin Custom Outdoors. If you haven't seen his channel, he does his channel is like famous for doing pool pond videos. So he has like a giant pool in his backyard, and he basically like goes out, catches fish, and then adds them to the pond, and like, you know, creates like little ecosystems where he even has like different tanks for like creating bait, like shrimp and stuff that he uses to feed the pond. So really, really cool channel. He's a good guy. Um, there's some other Christian channels like I'm blanking on off the top of my head. I'm sure they'll come to me at some point. But he's the first one I would recommend. Absolutely. And actually he makes pretty similar style videos where he, you know, has like he'll go out and he does like voiceover narration to summarize different parts of the trip. Very good editing as well. So let's see here. Let's get a char. Get a char. There we go. We got him. Fish on. Fish on. Hey Bryce, would you still recommend the Rapala Countdown? I accidentally bought it instead of a floating minnow. I saw that you put it in your Loser Wars video. What's your opinion? Okay, so that lure is actually some. I think the Rapala Countdown has the most potential of all the lures I mentioned, or one of the most. I really think that lure can absolutely catch fish. I just wasn't using it right. And when I say that, I mean I literally should have just tried, you know, stop being lazy and try fishing the thing without a swivel, because the swivel was really the number one reason why I wasn't catching anything. Because and it could have just been the size of the swivel or the size of the countdown I was using, but the problem with it was it kept getting caught. The front treble hook kept getting caught on that swivel. So then it would cause the lure to mess up, like it wouldn't move naturally. I will definitely be trying the countdown this year, and I would still recommend it even though I haven't caught anything off of it. Like, I know it catches fish. Same reason why I would recommend people buy a Z-Man chatterbait. Haven't caught a fish off of it, but I know it'll catch fish. In fact, I bought another one recently that I plan on trying. I got like one of the standard like 3/8 ounce sized ones, I think, that I plan on fishing with at some point this year. I love smallmouth. I sight fish them off my paddleboard in the early summer using worms and minnows. That's awesome. Yeah, I love smallies. I mean, they are my most caught fish. Like I've caught more smallmouth bass than anything. I really, really enjoy. I think the reason why is just because like obviously they hang out in streams, which those are my favorite. I just love river fishing. Um, so yeah, I love that, and then also, um, they put up such a good fight for their size. I think for their size, they are like one of the most aggressive fish that you can target. I bought my first chatterbait in the fall. Never got to use it as um as it was when the lakes were getting iced over, but excited to use it. Yeah. Again, I'm sure it catches fish. Another thing I want to try with a chatterbait, I didn't try last year, and it was probably a mistake. I didn't dress it with like a trailer or anything, and I know most people recommend putting a trailer on the lure. That it helps it move a little bit more naturally, like side to side. So I will probably be trying that this year as well. Every time I catch a fish, I have that "fish on" voice line stuck in my head. That's funny. It's actually really funny. I had someone from our church tell me who like their family watches the videos. It's like, oh yeah, my son. Every time we talk about fishing, he always says "fish on, fish on." Really cute. I don't know. Like obviously, I'm not the first person to say "fish on," but for some reason, it just kind of stuck, and I say it like basically every time I hook into a fish on this channel. Let's see if we can hook into another char. Let's see. Come on. Come on, go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it. Yeah, we got him. We got him. There we go. Bring him in. Now, when they're wiggling like that, like up and down, you have to use the joystick so that there's tension on the line. Otherwise, they will throw the hook. And then when they start fighting back, you have to like let off entirely because otherwise the line will snap. It's just kind of how the game goes. Obviously, in real life, you have drag, so you don't really have to worry about that. I wish I had a PlayStation. This game looks so much fun. Yeah, I'll admit I am actually emulating for this one, but I did have the game growing up, and it was so much fun to play. I mean, I really enjoyed playing it. Now, fun fact though, I was playing this game on a PS2, and at the time, I didn't know you actually needed, if you were playing a PS1 game on the PS2, you had to have a PS1 memory card in order to save. So basically, every time I turned off the game or off the console, it would restart, like completely reset my progress. So I kept my PlayStation on for like months on end so that I could complete the game and unlock everything. All right, I'm gonna head off. God bless and happy Easter. Happy Easter to you too. For drinking water constantly. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for the super chat. I think that's the first super chat I've ever gotten. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great Easter weekend. God bless. Kind of like when a fish jumps in real life. You have to put your rod tip down so they don't shake it. Yeah, yeah, you're right. In this game is definitely more of a simulation style game. Um, Although these first few levels, it kind of feels like 1 pound mono simulator. Oh, I think that was I think the we just unlocked the next location. I think the goal was to catch a 10-pound char because I heard the little harp sound saying that we accomplished something go off. Well, let's double check. Yep, we got another pearl. Nice. That's funny. I did that a few times. Some dumb mobile games, keeping them on for months. Oh yeah, it's for me, it was the only way I could make it that far. But it was fun. I have a lot of really good memories of this game. Oh, I have a char in my live well. Alright, before going to the creek, I gotta put that in the tank. I should also feed the trout I have in there. Oh, we gotta name them. Chard? Yeah, we'll call him Chard. Chard the Char. Let's watch the fish in the tank, and we can feed him. Yeah. Is there a... I think there was a light. Oh, no. Oh, no. Apparently the light was already on. Interesting. Let's give him some food. Fun to see him go for it. And another cool feature about this is if you come back, you can actually see the fish grow over time. Like, they get longer. Good name for a char? Yeah. The char. I feel like that would be like a good dish. Like if you were doing like a catch and cook, char. Might not actually taste the best, but okay, bye. Enjoy the virtual fishing. Well, hey, thank you for coming on the stream. All right. Stream of creek. Here we go. Oh, we already got... This is a bitterling. So I believe that the bitterling is a, like, Eurasian fish. So it's like Europe and Asia have these species. In fact, if you've ever heard of Tanago fishing, I think it's called. It's a form of fly fishing where you just have... it's like almost like a cane pole instead of having like a traditional fly rod. And Tanago, I think, in Japanese literally translates to bitterling, or it's what they call bitterling. But in this, instead of using a fly, we're using bait, which, Tanago also refers to, I think, actually, I'm confusing with Tenkara. I think Tenkara is the fly fishing. Tanago is microfishing. I think that's what it was. in either way, either case, if I don't know if you guys have ever watched Traditional Fishing Japan, but yeah, that's a really fun channel too. He does like Japanese microfishing where he catches like bitterling and crucian carp. Sometimes he catches common carp, like off of tiny little baits. Leaving now. Bye. See you on the next stream. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, Dan Shark. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great Easter. Yeah, definitely check out Traditional Fishing Japan. A little different pacing. And in fact, there's no dialogue either. It's just like he puts subtitles on, like captions, if you will. But yeah, it's a different style of video, very relaxing to watch. What is this game? This game it's a PS1 game called Real Fishing. It's a kind of I don't know. I guess most people nowadays would consider it to be an obscure game, but I absolutely love it. This is such a fun game that from my childhood that I played all the time. Oh, those bitterling are sneaky. Where's the fish? Oh, there it is. Oh, got one. They are so sensitive. You have really good timing. Yeah, this is a really fun one. Yeah, it's for the PlayStation 1. So, yeah, the game's from 1996. But I bought it for $3 at a GameStop bargain bin when I was a kid. First game I ever bought with my own money, and I played it all the time. Gotta run. Always enjoy your content. Keep up the great work, Bryce. Thanks, Just One More Cast. You too. I've really been enjoying your videos. Keep it up, and have a great Easter. Let's see. Let's go. Any bitterling here? Wow, these fish are, I guess, kind of, they're not having it. Okay. Am I just going to be sitting here with a, do I have to, I don't know. Maybe I can try switching up the bait. That was kind of weird. No, the bitterling did not get away, okay? The bitterling had zero interest. That bait looked exactly the same when I put it on. Some games are $60 today. I know. It's crazy how much the price of games has gone up. And I feel like, personally, okay, and I feel like an old man for saying this, but I feel like games used to be better. You know, if you go back 15 years, like, I feel like gaming really peaked in, like, the early 2000s up to, like, the early 2010s. Like, I'm thinking Minecraft. But I'm also biased because I loved playing Minecraft growing up. But I know, hey, people still play Minecraft nowadays. That's a good game. I remember back when I was playing it, it was in beta. You've seen some games for hundreds of dollars? That's insane. I don't think I would ever pay $100 for a single game. You know, I mean, there are a few things that I would want to spend $100 on. This YouTube channel is one of those things, but I still play Minecraft. It's awesome. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad that that people are still playing Minecraft. I mean, I know it almost feels like a completely different game than when I was, in middle school. Um, back I remember I was playing Minecraft before they even added wolves. That was in the beta 1.4 update. Um, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Minecraft was just such a great like creative outlet for me growing up. Let's see if I can land this bitterling. These are finicky fish, but this is a big one. There we go. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Oh, not yet. Nice. Just watched the base video. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I put a lot of effort into that. You know, because I want the videos to be entertaining. But I also wanted to use that as an opportunity to spread awareness of all the AI generated fishing videos on YouTube. That guy's one of those videos in the latest video I just made has like 74,000 views, and I'm like, do any of these people know that it's AI generated? Like that's why I made the videos, because it's like obviously this video made like that video made an impact, and I don't want people to just be on. I want people to be informed when that kind of stuff shows up. I think the more people that know um, that how to recognize AI generated content on YouTube, the less the algorithm will recommend it, right? Oh, a lot of the time, if you can detect like clickbait thumbnails are one thing. Obviously, you can get people to click on a video, but they're not the end all be all. Your video, in order to get recommended on YouTube, you have to have good engagement. They can't just, if they only watch the first 10 seconds and then move off, it's not going to be recommended the same way as if, so they stick through even half the video. If you have a lot of people watching the entire video, that's even better. Next time I go fishing, I'm definitely going to use rusty bolts as bait. Yeah, I know. That was probably the one of the most ludicrous, like ridiculous claims, um, that somehow putting iron in the water will attract fish. Obviously, that's not true, because there's plenty of iron in the water already from other things that have been dropped in there, whether accidentally or otherwise. Um, and and you don't see fish just hanging around like iron in the water. That's not how it works. But let's see here. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, I got him. We got him. Another bitterling. I think this is a smaller one, so it probably won't count towards the whatever goal. I know there's a certain size bitterling I have to catch in order to unlock the next place, which is, I think, carp fishing. Yeah. If anything, iron deposits are bad, especially for sensitive fish like trout. Absolutely. That's how I feel. I feel like of all the metals, iron actually doesn't do too much. But it definitely doesn't help. It's not going to help the fish in any way. Um, so, yeah, it's and definitely for a species like trout, they're very sensitive. They need, very clean, clear water, um, to live long lives. Same goes with other types of fish, but trout especially are sensitive to that. Have you ever been to MN? I think is that Minnesota? Um, I love muskie fishing there. Well, in any case, I think MN is Minnesota. I have not been there. In fact, I have only been to. I'm thinking the places I fished almost every New England state. I haven't fished Connecticut or Rhode Island, but oh, actually, never mind. I haven't even fished Vermont. Well, I'm going to do that this year, definitely. I've fished New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Maine. In fact, I fished all three last year at one point. I have also fished North Carolina, though I didn't catch any fish there when I did. Sadly, this was before my YouTube channel, so I wasn't as into it, so to speak. But I definitely want to try fishing in new places. I mean, Vermont's a hop, skip, and a jump away, so I should really try fishing there. And I'm also going to do some saltwater fishing. I'm looking forward to doing some saltwater fishing, catching some striped bass. I've caught stripers before. I've only ever caught saltwater fish from charters, though. I've never caught a saltwater fish like completely on my own, so that's going to be a goal of mine this year. Bryce, you gotta get over here. There's so many lakes and streams. It's paradise. Really? Now, isn't Minnesota the land of the 10,000 lakes, it's called? I think it's 10,000. I always forget the thousand. Is it 1,000, 10,000, 100,000? I know they got a bunch of lakes over there. Anything over 35 is big in my eyes for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, 35 inches is huge. That's almost 3 feet. Like, I've never caught a fish that big. I caught fish close. My biggest fish so far is the common carp I caught was, I think I said it was 31 inches long. So, yeah, I have caught, that was the biggest fish, though. I would love to catch a muskie someday. I know I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to have to I'm going to have to go to a different state, though. We don't really have muskie in New Hampshire. There is a state record for tiger muskie, but that's a hybrid. That's like a cross between a northern pike and a muskie. So I don't count that. So I will probably have to go to, I think they're muskie in Vermont. I know they have them in Lake Champlain. I'd rather not drive all the way to Lake Champlain, but if I have to, maybe I will. Yes, it's actually over 10,000, almost 12,000. Wow, that is crazy. That is a ton of lakes. I really like I will definitely be doing more like pond and lake fishing this year, but I still like I'm so biased. I just love streams. But it's nice to know that the Minnesota's got streams too. Hey, the Goobert Schnoobert. Hey, Bryce. So happy to finally catch one of your streams. I recently got Pretty Good Fisherman's book printed in 1995 at my grandma's. And it has some pretty good tips. That's awesome. Yeah, I actually have a few old fishing books myself. Last year, I think, for Christmas, this was Christmas of 2024, I got a book on carp fishing, actually. And it had some really good tips on carp fishing. It was a UK carp fishing book. Also, another book I think I mentioned it in my Christmas buying guide. really recommend is Fishing for Buffalo. That's what the book's called, but it's actually it has a it covers more than just buffalo. It covers all the rough fish, they're referred to. Basically, all the non-sport fish of America. So you get to learn about the different species, and that was I think also from the '90s. It was revised a few years, but that's another really fun book. Oh hey, Yellow Bear Zero, what's going on? Good to see you on the stream. Fun fact, a couple of the fish native to New Hampshire are also native to Alaska. Yeah, that's a really cool fact. I know, I think you guys got trout up there. Like, I would imagine you probably have brook trout. I know you have Arctic char, and those are also native to New Hampshire, even though we don't have them anymore. They're extirpated. We specifically had a subspecies of the Arctic char called the Sunapee trout, and they were in Lake Sunapee, which, that Lake Sunapee is, I think it's one of the larger lakes in New Hampshire. Nothing like Winnipesaukee, but it's a popular fishing destination. Yo, Bears here. I've seen you in Toxic Custom Outdoors streams. Yes. I think I remember seeing him in a Toxic Custom Outdoors stream too. He's got good taste in YouTube channels. I can say that much. Brook trout are not native to Alaska. Okay. So it might just be the Arctic char I know are there. I would think you have northern pike. I would think you have maybe you have northern pike there. They might not be native, but they're probably there. Have to go. Thanks for streaming. Oh, well, hey, thanks for coming on, Muskie, Minnesota. It's great to have you on the stream. Oh, and I just saw Aztec Air on. Sup, I'm a new fan. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the live stream. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. And Ken's on. First time seeing you in chat. Well, it's good. We got a good turnout. I think this was good, like good timing. I thought, I could try doing a live stream after releasing a big video and see if that would drive more traffic to it, and I think it has. It's been great getting to talk with all you guys while unwinding with some real fishing for the PS1. Let's see if we can catch another bitterling. There we go. Let's get him. Let's get him. Pikes are native to Alaska. That's cool. Yeah, I figured northern pike would be. Northern pike it has like some amazing coverage. Like it really surprises me how far the northern pike spans. It's basically like a worldwide fish, or I should say a hemisphere-wide fish. I don't think it's in the southern hemisphere, but correct me if I'm wrong. Your AI reaction videos are so funny, even the one with the WD-40. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mentioned earlier on stream, but I really try hard to make those videos engaging, like funny. Because it wouldn't be the same if I was just like responding about, oh yeah, this is also AI garbage. Oh yeah, this is also AI garbage. I feel like I'd get a little too repetitive. So. Yeah, I was just watching Toxin Customs Outdoors latest video. He's crashing out over a guy in a boat driving back and forth. Oh man. I can understand that though. Like no one wants to go fishing when, you know, you're I had a situation actually. If you saw my carp fishing video, there was a place where I caught the 2 channel catfish in Massachusetts. Um, that video, I actually had to cut the fishing short at that spot because there was some guy who was going back and forth on a jet ski, and I didn't want it in the video. I wanted the video to be focused on that, and I was just so frustrated. It's like, yeah, technically I don't own the river, so I can't just keep this fishing spot to myself. But like, really, you got to choose today of all days to show off on your jet ski. We got another one. Do you get tornadoes in New Hampshire? Um, Generally, no, but it doesn't mean we can't. We have had them in New Hampshire. I haven't personally experienced one, and they tend to be fairly small. They're not like, you know, Tornado Alley or anything. Alaska is home to the largest member of the whitefish, called the she-fish. Oh, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that, but I guess it makes sense for whitefish to be in Alaska, because that's another, like, really cold water species. The lake whitefish is actually one that I have wanted to catch. That's a fish in New Hampshire. It's only in, like, the larger lakes, like Sunapee. I might be in Winnipesaukee, but I know for certain it's in Sunapee. I think it might be a Newfound Lake. So they are huge here. To one ripped off a huge tree through a kid in my class's roof in 4th grade. Wow, that sounds really scary. Yeah, I'm glad New England doesn't. I mean, there are a few bad tornadoes. I know there's one in like Springfield, Massachusetts, you know, years and years ago. But most of the time, the tornadoes aren't as bad up here. What we get instead are like bad weather, and it's not as bad. Are ice storms. So there was a really bad ice storm in 2008 that like left, I think, even my family without power for 2 weeks. Um, and we were like, you know, in the suburbs. We weren't out in the sticks. I got some Frog Tog waders for $25 on clearance at Fleet Farm. That is a steal. You know, maybe someday I'll get myself a pair of waders. For now, I think I'm going to just keep doing wet wading. But, you know, there have been moments, especially early season, where I've been wanting it. Just so I can wade in the water a little bit earlier. I don't usually start wet wading until, like, late May. "99% of the fish in Alaska are native?" Wow, really? I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, you don't really need to stock much in Alaska since there's so, like, there aren't too many people fishing. In fact, I think a lot of the fishing is commercial, right? It's like the offshore commercial fishing. Um, I'm starting to start my own fishing bag, and I bought a brand new rod for $47 with 2 other lures, and then I bought a fishing bag. That's awesome. Yeah, I I I think oh, actually, you already just said it. You bought a fight pack of rooster tails. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's the first lure I would buy is a. You don't have to get a rooster tail specifically, but inline spinners in general. I am a very big fan. I mean, it is my profile picture. um, yeah, I very much enjoy using inline spinners. If I could only have one inline spinner for the rest of my life, it would probably be a Panther Martin. But you see me use rooster tails more just because they're cheaper, and you know, I tend to snag them all the time. So I tried wet wading, but I'm in South Dakota. My toes were white by the time I was done. Oh, it's that cold, huh? Wow. And this is the same South Dakota that was getting like 80-degree days this past month, right? That's some crazy weather. Let's see. Come on. Let's see if we can get another bitterling. All right. Let's see what we got. We got him. Another bitterling. Reel him in, reel him in. Nice. Good catch. Oh, nice. I just checked the stats for the latest video I put out. It's doing pretty well. Like, not as well as the last video came out. I'm not looking at the I don't have a CTR reading yet. Or do I? Oh, I do. It's 13%. Yeah, that's okay. CTR is one of those things. It varies. Like, you know, every time you release a video for the first time, like, as soon as you release the video is basically the highest the CTR will be. And then, you know, later on, it goes down and down and down. It usually sits, a good video, it'll sit around like 4 or 5%. So, you should make a Discord for fishermen. It could help new people wanting to get into the hobby. I have thought about a Discord server, and the only reason I've held off is just because I know I'm not going to have time to moderate it properly. Like, I honestly, if, you know, if there are people I knew that, like, I could genuinely trust to moderate the server 24/7, then it wouldn't be a concern of mine. But I know, you know, stuff happens on Discord that, you know, I wouldn't want myself to be associated with. Um, you know, I certainly wouldn't want something to happen on my Discord server that, you know, would reflect poorly. Um, especially because I know I got a lot of kids watching my channel, and honestly, personally, I wouldn't want my kid on some random Discord server, but hypothetically, it might happen someday. But I would need to make sure I have people I can trust that are going to be on there all the time, moderating, what gets said. But yeah, it's a great idea though. I definitely like the idea. Um, Night fishing right now and just caught a black-tip shark. Well, Tofu Boy 4, that's pretty cool. I have never caught a shark before, but that sounds like pretty a pretty sweet fish. Oh, hey, I like seeds. Hi, Bryce. I'm a guy who sends you ideas and stuff. And the last thing I asked you if you had any pets. Yeah, I think did you get my response? Maybe I didn't send it or not. But yeah, I used to have pets. I don't have any pets currently, but growing up, I had cats, dogs, I had chickens, goldfish. I had a bunch of different pets. So I really love animals. But since getting married, my wife and we haven't gotten any pets yet, but it's definitely in the future. Both of us grew up with chickens, so we will probably get chickens again. Um, at the very least, to get some fresh eggs. With these new YouTube community things, we don't really need Discord servers as much. Yeah, I think so too. I kind of agree. I understand there's like an aspect of Discord of like, it feels exclusive almost. It's like, you know, you could say the same about a live stream though. Like, how many people are just going to watch some guy talk about fishing stuff while playing a fishing game on YouTube? It's really going to be the more dedicated followers um, that would want to watch something like that. But I understand, like, it's not exactly the same. Like, you can do video calls and stuff on Discord. Um, but, again, at the same time, unless I'm there 24/7, I'm not going to be able to make sure that everything is safe. At least to my standard. Obviously, the internet has changed a lot since I was a kid, but in many ways, it's still the same. There's stuff that, I wouldn't want my kids exposed to, let alone, kids who watch my channel. This is the only time you get to talk to your favorite YouTubers outside of comments is during live streams. Yeah, and that's why I do these live streams, is so I can engage with you guys. I know I don't do them too often. It's just, I have to balance it, right? Like, I think more often, and same reason why I can't respond to all the comments. I used to. Before I was monetized, I made an effort. I responded to every single comment I got. But after getting monetized, and especially for these like bigger videos, I'll get like 400 plus comments on a video. And it's like I have to often I still read almost all of them. But I have to make a decision. Like, am I going to spend the free time I have responding to comments, or am I going to spend that time doing a live stream, or am I going to spend that time working on a video? And most of the time, you know, I end up dedicating that time that I could have used just to making more videos because I know that's what my audience is going to enjoy the most. So it's a balance. You got to find it. Especially those big videos, like the one I just released today. That again, that was a like 40+ hour video. That took a long time to put together. I think people kind of underestimate how much effort goes into big videos like that. In general, especially like that AI channel I was calling out was so long. Every single video is like 20+ minutes. And so I had to, you know, sit through the whole thing to find a few nuggets of like, this is really inaccurate information that isn't just rambling on for hours on end. And there's so much repetition too, like repeating the same thing over and over and over again. And I cut that all out because that's not entertaining to watch. So I just get to the point. Oh, hello, I'm back just for a bit, saying hi, but going now, lol. Well, hey, thanks for hopping back on, Dan Shark. How do you find creeks to fish in? Do you use Google Maps or an app? So I have two things I use. Yes, you said do you use FishBrain? That's one that I have used, and I would recommend using FishBrain. It's kind of hard. It's not at the most useful unless you. I feel like it's really only useful if you pay for the premium subscription, because then you can get the exact spots that people are fishing from. But you can use you could also use Google Maps. I've actually thought of reaching out to FishBrain for sponsorship. Like I feel like they would be a good sponsor candidate because I actually use them and I would actually speak very positively of them. Like I think they're the best fishing app that you can get right now. You know, there's just so much data available, and obviously it's not all 100% accurate, but it's accurate enough. So if you want to target a new species, it's a great place to do that. But if you want to find, like, my hidden gem spots have actually not been from FishBrain. They have been from Google Maps. And those take work. Like, you have to look at the streams. You have to basically, like, you start with the big stream. In New Hampshire, it's the Merrimack River. You look at that, and then you basically say, okay, what are the streams that feed into this river? And you kind of work your way up. So the Merrimack and the Connecticut rivers are the big two. And you can find a bunch of little streams that feed into those big streams, and those tend to be like great fishing spots. Bryce, I follow you on FishBrain. I think it's a great app. Yeah, I enjoy using FishBrain. I think it's a good source for fishing information, especially if you pay for the premium. You get like you're able to see the exact spots people catching fish. I like the fact that at the very least you can use, like you can see what gear people are using, even without the premium. So that's helpful. A lot of time people are just using Senkos. You know, they're catching bass off Senkos. Surprise, surprise. Or they're using a worm. Which hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I've said it in one of my last videos, and I'll say it again. There's no shame in using live bait. If that's what it takes to catch fish, then so be it. There's no shame. Thank you. I unfortunately had to move to a more freshwater state, and I'm used to fishing salt. It's not hard to find saltwater fishing spots. That's interesting. It's interesting that you say that because for me, I personally think saltwater fishing is way harder. Like, I think for me, it's harder to read saltwater because I'm used to looking for certain structure in the water of like a stream or a pond. And I feel like it's harder to read that in an ocean. But maybe that's just me. I want to try doing some saltwater fishing this year, though. For sure. I just watched your newest AI breakdown video. Awesome. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it. I came across that channel and I was like, no way. There is no way that this guy, the copper wire video had like 70,000 views. I wasn't about to let him get away with that, if you know what I mean. So, all right, we got him. I think this is a larger bitterling. Yeah. Yeah, he's looking like a good size one. Have you caught anything? I just finished my homework and wanted to watch your live. Yeah, well, hey, I just got this bitterling. In game I caught a some yamame trout, some char, and now I'm on to catching bitterling. In real life, I caught some fish as early as March, or as recent as March 7th. That was my last ice fishing video, and I'm gonna have to wait, I think, another week or two before, um, you know, trying to open water fish around here. But I'm sure the bite will heat up soon enough, and I'm getting really excited. You should definitely use WD-40 and wires. Yeah, I know, right? Um, crazy stuff. Um, and WD-40 is like a myth. I've heard people, or I haven't heard people, but when I looked it up online, there are people trying it. And it's ridiculous. Like, the argument is that WD-40 contains fish oil. Okay, well, you know what? Um, if that's why you use WD-40, here's a better idea. Just buy fish oil, or just buy, like, some fish oil pills, crush them up, and soak your lures in them. If you really think that's gonna attract fish, and it could, but certainly the stuff in WD-40, while it is a proprietary blend, we know that most of it is petroleum. Yeah, you're not gonna catch anything more with that. Hey, Rooster Tail 1, what's up? Sorry I'm late. Good to have you on. I hope you, I take it you probably already saw my latest AI video. I hope you enjoyed that. Come on, let's get him. Another bitterling. Bitterling's so good, they made Bitterling 2.0. Yeah, right? A 2-inch bitterling. So, you think the AI wrote those videos too, or do you think the AI created the video with that a person wrote? That was entirely AI generated. I guarantee you. It pulled some myths that have been, like, they were established fishing myths, like WD-40 was for sure. But that said, it was absolutely, there are some pretty obvious ones, like at the end of the video, or close to the end, you saw how there was the which part was it? I'm blanking now. Oh yeah, the study. It had referenced a study on testing the brain activity of sea bass with copper, saying that it basically they detect copper and they sense real prey, which isn't true. That's and on top of it not being true, is entirely made up. Like, I searched far and wide for studies from the University of Miami, and oh hey, it was another Bitterling 2.0. But I think those AI videos are just automated with tools. Some guy writes a prompt once a day, and then yep, exactly. In fact, I am pretty convinced that it's not even like he probably has multiple channels too. Um, the way, I mean, they can pump them out so quickly that they can generate like a dozen of them in a day, and then just release them once a day over the course of like a week and a half. It's all a simulation. I know, right? Yeah, we gotta skip. We have to escape the AI generated matrix. Maybe this channel's AI. Well, the reasons I could say I'm not AI is because first off, base. AI doesn't really have a good sense of humor. Just gonna put it out there. I'm not like a Jerry Seinfeld over here, but I like to think that I can at least when I try to make my videos funny, people enjoy it. I've never seen a funny AI, or if an AI is funny, it's unintentionally funny, right? It'll say something like super edgy when it didn't mean to, and that makes it funny. Also, all that footage of me fishing. If you haven't seen my AI slop shorts, I released a few of them last year where I was addressing how Sora couldn't create AI fishing videos. You can see like AI still has a very hard time simulating the physics that go behind the motion of fishing, the water physics, the rod moving with the line all lined up. Um, but yeah, it's hard to simulate all of that. So when you see someone actually fishing in real life, even if it's like a first person POV, you don't see their face. Odds are it's a real person. Ooh, this is a nice size bitterling. Oh yeah, Sora shut down. Yeah, I heard about that. Sora, it is shutting down, but they're staying open until I think September is when they're like officially shutting down. So you can still technically generate videos. It was a really dumb idea though, like from the get go. Um, the idea is just like, oh, you enter a prompt, it generates a short form video for you. Oh, that's a nice size bitterling, 2.6. I'll keep that in the live well. Um, and you basically just have, it's kind of like I think, okay, I don't use YouTube Shorts or TikTok, but it's basically like short form feed app, but it's all AI generated content. And I mean, some of the stuff might have been like a little funny, but like outside of a joke, not many people were really using it. The only time I used it was for those videos. I generated like a few fishing videos to see what it could do, and surprise, surprise, it couldn't make a realistic fishing video. I will say AI is very good at creating ice fishing videos because there are no physics to process. Because it's just line goes into the hole and then a fish comes out. And I don't know about you guys, but personally, I feel like, with AI generated content in general, I feel like we've kind of reached a plateau where, it hasn't gotten any better. Like recently, we've made a lot of strides in the last 2 years, but it's nothing. It's nothing. We've made really no progress in the last like 4 or 5 months. I know there's less investment that's going into it, but AI generated videos really haven't changed much. Yo, Bryce, want to hear the 4-packs I got from my local fishing store? Sure. I will say, I'm probably going to wrap it up soon, as it is getting rather late. It's, I think 10:20 p.m. where I'm at right now. Not sure. I know some of you guys are further out west where it's a little earlier in the evening. But for me, as an adult, I don't stay up that late anymore. This is like basically as late as I stay up. I know that's sad. I mean, when I was in like high school and college, this would be like the minimum I stayed up to. Sometimes I'd stay up till like, you know, midnight or 1 a.m., you know, in college. But now I'm a married adult and I usually go to bed at like, you know, 10:30. Maybe it's so good now that we don't even notice it's AI anymore. It could be. Could be. I really don't think it's you know, I mean for some people that's definitely the case. And for some videos I think it's easier to use than others. But honestly, the dead giveaways are like, you know, it's not X, it's Y. For some reason AI still can't help but use that kind of phrasing in like scripting and stuff. I'll even see like people using AI just for their script, and then I hear them say that, and I'm like, dude, I get it. Writing a script is hard. You got to pump these videos out to make money on YouTube. Is it really worth using AI to generate your response? Like, I don't do that. I do not use AI for script generation in any way because it doesn't sound like me. Like. Yo, Bryce, I'm a bluegill. Oh, hey, I see what you did there. Hey, bluegill. All right. Somehow I've never caught a bluegill before. You're kidding me. Rooster Tail 1, you have never caught a bluegill before? Man, I think you're missing out. Okay, granted, they're not like the most fun species to catch, but for me, I think it was the first fish I ever caught, like as a kid. Um, they're fun. They're really fun fish to catch. In fact, um, I actually have a video coming up that is from October of last year where I caught like over a dozen bluegill. I think I caught like 16 of them. It was really fun. Bryce, do you live in the States or Canada? I live in the United States. I live specifically in the state of New Hampshire, so not too far from Canada, actually. It borders Canada. In fact, I haven't been to Canada before, but I've seen Canada. Like I've been on the like this strip of the Connecticut River where it's like this side is New Hampshire and then the other side is Canada, kind of a thing. Really cool. That's up in Colebrook, New Hampshire, I believe. It's either Colebrook or Pittsburgh. What game is this? This is Real Fishing for the PS1. It's a game from 1996 that I grew up playing. Fit. Yeah, for some reason, like the biggest memes on my channel are Fit and Base. Obviously, Base needs to be there, because in some ways, Base kind of formed my channel. Fit surprises me. Like you know, especially because the Temu video I made where I referenced that, I mean, it's got like 25 or 26,000 views. It's not super popular compared to like my AI videos. Bryce, you don't sound that old. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. I'm in my late 20s. So, if I sound younger than that, that's great. Wait a minute. Is that the bluegill in my fish tank? How'd you get a phone? Bryce, fit is a recently popular meme. Not much, but I definitely would assume just not from your channel, if I'm reading that correctly. That would make sense, actually, if it was, like, just something that people are saying outside. It's just a popular meme. That's what I mean. Like, that, things like that make me seem old, though. It's like, I'm so out of touch with that stuff. I happen to fall into that kind of, like, I guess I was relevant when I talked about the fish shirt on my Temu video. But you know, a lot of the humor and like the memes and stuff I reference, a lot of that's like from when I was in high school, or like, you know, way back in the 2010s. But I think it's still just as funny today as it was back then. Fishing brain rot exists, don't worry, it's super niche. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there really isn't much fishing brain rot content out there. And I would like to think that my stuff is a little bit more stimulating than pure brain rot. Like, you know, I do, even with the AI videos, I especially, I like to actually educate with them too. You know, because I think there are things that people can learn from those videos if they, just, at the very least, they can know that whatever the AI is saying is wrong. Well, let's see if we can catch, let's see if we can catch one more bitterling. And then we can call it a night. Aaron Angler TV, hello. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the stream. Oh, and Eli's heading out. Thanks for coming on, Eli. I'll probably be heading out too. I love your AI videos. Hey, thanks, the Midkey Pro. I appreciate it. A lot of effort goes into those videos to make them fun, entertaining, but also educational. I'm glad you enjoy them. Happy Good Friday. Happy Good Friday to you too. I went to my church's Good Friday service this evening. Our pastor was a little under the weather still. He didn't make it to church this past Sunday. It's been a really rough, it's been a really rough season for sickness. I think I got sick like 3 or 4 times this past winter, and there's another thing going around. But it was, you know, really great service tonight. I'm really looking forward to Easter. There we go. Let's get this one more fish for the night. Hopefully we won't get too sick before Easter. Yeah, that's the hope. Yeah, you know, because I certainly want to stay healthy for my family and stuff that I'll be visiting. All right, we got one more fish. This was a 2.4-inch bitterling. All right. Well, hey, I think I'm going to end it for the night. It's pretty late, and I'm going to need some sleep, as many of you will need as well. But thank you all for coming on for the live stream tonight. It was great to talk with all you guys, and I'm sure I'll be doing another live stream soon. I'll probably do one in May. You know, let me know what other fish games you want to see me play. I might play Real Fishing 2 or Real Fishing 3. I know I've had requests for Cast and Chill, so I'll be doing that. At some point. I definitely enjoy that game, but we definitely need some sleep. So, hey, have a great weekend, everyone. Have a wonderful Easter as well, and God bless.